All right, guys, it's Jahlon, and the developer update on Friday from Intrepid Studios on Ashes of Creation was absolutely massive. Throw out pretty much everything you knew about the world of Verra, because it's a whole new world, and you're going to see why. At the end of today's video, I know you're going to have more questions than you got answers. Leave a comment below. I'll do my best to get every question answered. If you want to stop on my Twitch show Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we can get into a more in-depth discussion. And before we move on, big thank you to Steven Sharif, the creative director. He and I have been speaking since Friday, getting some clarifications. So through today's video, you're going to see some cut and pastes in of our text discussion. That's going to provide a little bit of clarity. The first bit of clarity we need to do is this new map. As you can see here, we have the old map on the left. We have the new map on the right. So everybody is on the same page. The map on the left represents 450 square kilometers of landmass and ocean. Everything you see corner to corner, top to bottom, that's 450 square kilometers. The map on the right is 1,200 square kilometers. This includes 750 square kilometers of lakes and oceans, and it represents 450 to 480 square kilometers of landmass, including, as you can see, those two new islands. You'll notice that the map on the right, the orientation, the shape, some things have changed. Intrepid wants to really make sure that the land masses support naval PvP. There's a big announcement about naval PvP coming up. If you can't wait, just click on the timestamp. With that said, two things here. Neither map shows the Underrealm, so we don't really have a square kilometer number for the Underrealm yet. And the map on the right does not have the harbor areas added to it. So if Steven's checking out this video, Steven, are harbor areas points of interest that are always there? Or do the harbor areas only spawn with appropriate nodes? These are the things we need to know. Now, one other thing about the map that concerned people was when they found out that on this map, if you were to travel from the very top of a continent to the very bottom of a continent, they were concerned that the travel time was too short. Steven said in the video on Friday, or in the live stream, it would be 50 minutes by mount, or it would be 75 minutes on foot. Now, I have sent a clarification in, and we did get an answer. The answer was, this is as the crow flies. So if you don't know that expression, it means straight line, point to point, above any terrain. Steven has clarified that geographical hurdles may slow you down. You may need a specific mount in order to do a lot of gliding. Now, right here is a point where I want you to go ahead and leave a comment. Do you think that 50 minutes by mount, top to bottom, is too short? Do you fear that Zerg guilds will simply move into the middle of their continent so they can get anywhere in 25 minutes by mount? Do you think that the limited fast travel offered by Scientific Metropolis will make the continent too small? Before Intrepid gets too far into developing new stuff, let's make sure we give them the best feedback we can about our overall impression on the map size. Because map size is one thing, but travel speed is really what makes the world feel big or feel small. Now, a couple of other just visual images for how big the map is going to be. I want to show you that according to their numbers they gave us, if that node on the right is a metropolis, then if we want to travel from that side to that side of the metropolis, it's going to take us 2.5 minutes on foot, or about 1.5 minutes mounted. You want to know if that's bigger or smaller than what you're currently playing, just log into your MMORPG that you're playing, go to one side of your capital city, and travel across it and see how long it takes you. Alrighty, so for some other travel times, if you wanted to travel from the dead center of this node to the dead center of your neighboring node, this is going to take you about 5 minutes mounted. Now, one key part of this is that there will not be a city at every node spot. This is talking about the distance between the center of one node spot to the center of the next node spot. There's been a lot of changes with how nodes work. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Just for frame of reference, if you wanted to travel side to side, that's going to be about 3 minutes, 30 seconds. So the world, it may feel a little small, and I'm hoping this is something that Intrepid may refine during early Alpha 2 testing. But again, since we haven't been in there and we haven't seen it, and we don't know what those geographical limitations are going to be. Those are all the things that we kind of got to take a look at before we start saying, oh, the world's going to be too small. Now, huge part about the node system change. Originally, the world of Verra was going to have 103 nodes in it. Intrepid has decided to drop that down to 85 nodes. Intrepid has also shrunk the size of the metropolis chains. Now the metropolis will, as you can see, a stage 6 node will have 2 5s. Those 5s are limited by what they can have. And there's going to be 20 nodes in the world that are known as what is buffer zone nodes, which means they will not belong to any vassal chain. There's so much going on with this change that I have to get with Steven to get a lot more clarifications. And I did get some. One of the things is that the lockout now does not begin until stage 3. This means that every node in Verra can go to stage 2. And if nothing else has changed, that means that you're not going to have additional node governments, because node government doesn't begin until stage 3. But it means the world is going to be in a much more pushed up state of minor development, expeditions and encampments. Now, one thing I did get from Steven is this relationship between level 1 and level 2 nodes and their parents. And as you can see, if a parent node has a child node that is level 1 or level 2, and the parent node is destroyed, the level 1 or level 2 node is also destroyed. This is a huge change in how the node system functioned and locked out and shaped the world. The vassal chains are smaller, and now the lowest level nodes, when they get destroyed, it's also going to take out another part of the world. That's going to cause the buffer nodes to be able to change in level. And I imagine that there's more changes coming. And I think, if I were to guess, I believe that possibly buffer zone nodes won't be affected by the lockout. I'm beginning to get that sort of feeling that these buffer zone nodes are going to be able to level on their own. What do you think? Should buffer zone nodes be locked out by vassal node neighbors, or should those buffer zone nodes be islands unto themselves of autonomy? Just some feedback that we can give Intrepid. Now, another thing that everybody is excited for is the new PvP on the water ruling. Now, as you can see on the map, there's a lot of water. We talked about 750 square kilometers of water. Of that, some of that area is called international waters. Now, I have another clarification into Steven. Does international waters get governed by nodes? Are they under the zone of influence? These are all those little details we need when they give us this big update. But what we know about the PvP zones, the international waters, is that there is no corruption. You are automatically flagged for PvP. Now, I don't know if that means you're made a purple, or if it means there is no flagging state at all and everybody's a legal target. Again, this is the 50,000 foot view to just give you the news change. I'm hoping to get a lot of details in the future to really do an Ashes 101. You will notice that Steven did address people's concerns. And I asked Steven specifically on the channel between the East Continent and the West Continent, will there be international waters between them? And his answer is yes. So you'll see on this map right here, you've got the coastal line that I drew, and that would be governed by the flagging rules. And then that red zone in between, that's international waters. Now, the lines I drew in are not to scale, so don't read too much into that. It's just simply conceptual. There's X amount of coastal area, there's international waters, and then when you get to the other side, you get into coastal waters. But that doesn't mean you're safe. They can still blow you up. They would just suffer the flagging penalty if you escaped international waters. Why the change? Steven believes that risk and reward is important, and they want to make sure that if you're out there doing treasure hunting or NPC killing or world bosses out there in those international waters, they want to make sure that there's a risk associated with that. There should be no reward that never has risk. Next up, we've got the policies, and you see some of the policies on the screen. this is starting to get into that mayor content that we've always been promised. Now, no, this is not scope creep. We have known since 2017 that mayors were going to be able to set policies. We didn't know what they were. So this is just giving us this introductory taste of this. And in this particular video, I am not going to deep dive all the policies. I want you to know from Friday's live stream, they talked about policies. I'm going to be putting out an Ashes 101 on policies the best I can. When I'm done with that, there'll be a video in the upper corner. Finally, caravan changes. The caravan changes were massive. I want to give you guys a visual indicator of how the caravan changes are going to happen. So previously, we were under the impression that you could take your caravan, launch it from any point of storage, but you would be vulnerable because people would literally see you at the in-node storage loading a caravan, and it'd be like ArcAge, where they're like, oh, I see a person loading trade packs. Intrepid has decided to give some obfuscation to the caravan launching. So what's going to happen is when you go to the caravansary, you get it all set up, you launch your caravan, there's going to be a launch area around the node that you will teleport to. Now, this isn't going to be far. It's not going to be half the distance. It's not going to make it completely easy. But what it's doing is it's making it so that you can't just stare at the caravansary and follow caravans out. And then what's going to happen is your caravan's going to spawn and you're going to start traveling towards your destination. Now, again, I know some people want the level of skill to be that you can get all the way into the city, all the way to the caravansary to be saved. But the truth is that these nodes are going to have gates. You're not just going to be able to go in through anywhere. There's going to be walls. There's going to be checkpoints and choke points. So what Intrepid has done is they've put a safety ring, a destination ring. If you get the caravan across that border, then your caravan is safe. It gets escorted by guards to the caravansary. So really, you're only going to have that period of vulnerability after you launch the caravan. And remember, the launching part of the caravan doesn't make you safe. It's just you launch from slightly off the border of the town, not having to go through that singular gate where people would be like, oh, found them. Once the caravan's rolling, it's a rolling PvP zone. So what do you guys think about that? This is another one of those areas where feedback is important. Personally, I think that this is a great change. I think it's going to give a certain amount of safety to people launching caravans, which means more people are going to launch caravans. So for all the PvPers saying, well, it's going to make it harder for me to find caravans to blow up, maybe a little bit, but you're going to have more quantity of them. And with that said, guys, there is a bunch of stuff that I could talk about. I could talk about the Minotaurs. I could talk about the Nagas. I could talk about the world boss that wanders around. I could talk about all those things. But this was the 50,000 foot view. I wanted to give you the hard hitting points. I'm going to be covering this Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be getting Ashes 101 caught up because Ashes 101 at the moment is radically inaccurate. Shout out to Lex and the Wiki team. They've been going crazy all weekend, getting everything updated. So give Ashes 101, give the Wiki a couple of days to get caught up. Give Steven a few days to watch content creators and give clarification. To my peers, my fellow content creating peers, make sure that you're being as accurate as possible because we don't want rampant speculation to be taken for fact. And then for everybody, including my peers, all the music you hear in my videos and in my live streams, that's all available for you to use. It's all at pgnmusic.com. I'm on Spotify. There's a YouTube channel for it. You can use that all DMCA free, no risk of copyright claims. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to put this in a post, and I'm going to spend about the next 2 weeks just rewriting Ashes 101, but I'll be streaming. If you guys got a question, stop on by. I'll get you squared away the best I can. And again, big thank you to Steven for giving me those clarifications. Means a lot to me. I'll see you guys next time.